The sun doesn't just rise here, it attacks. It bleaches the bones of the land, scours the color from the sky, and bakes the earth into a cracked ceramic plate stretching to a shimmering horizon. This is a place of absolutes, of brutal heat and chilling cold, a landscape that seems to actively reject life. To the unprepared, it is a beautiful, terrifying tomb. But look closer. In the shadow of a canyon wall, a beetle tilts its shell to the morning breeze, collecting microscopic droplets of water. A plant looking long dead hides a network of roots that plunge stories deep into the earth, waiting for a rain that may not come for years. This is not a dead world. It is a world of masters. For millennia, human beings have not just endured these arid lands. They have thrived, building empires, cultures, and legends upon the sand. Their story is one of the most ingenious survival sagas ever told. Our story begins not with a king or a conqueror, but with a single desperate decision made thousands of years ago. Imagine a group of hunter-gatherers on the fringes of what would become the Sahara. The climate is shifting, the green is fading, the waterholes are vanishing. They face a choice: follow the retreating water or adapt to the new harsh reality. Some left, but those who stayed began a quiet revolution. They noticed creatures that did not flee: the fennec fox with its enormous ears radiating heat, the addax antelope that never ever drinks, drawing moisture directly from the plants it consumes. They learned to read the desert like a book. To the untrained eye, a particular pattern of dunes might signal nothing. To them, it whispered of water trapped just below the surface. They learned that the flight path of a certain bird at dusk often led to a hidden seep. This knowledge wasn't just useful. It was sacred. It became the very foundation of their culture, passed down in songs and stories around fires under a blanket of a million stars. Then came one of the most dramatic plot twists in human history. The same people who mastered the art of survival in scarcity would go on to build civilizations of staggering wealth. How? The answer lies not in the soil, but in the sands beneath it. The very pathways they used to find water, the ancient, invisible networks of trade routes known only to them, became the arteries of empires. The camel, the ship of the desert, was their vessel. And their cargo? Salt, gold, ivory, ideas. The Tuareg of the Sahara, their faces veiled against the sun and sand, became the lords of trans-Saharan trade. They didn't control a kingdom with fixed borders. They controlled the knowledge. They knew where the wells were hidden, how to navigate by the stars, and how to cross 1,000 miles of nothingness. Kings and merchants in distant cities paid a fortune for their guidance. The silence of the desert was broken by the creak of saddles and the soft bells of caravans 1,000 camels strong, carrying the wealth of continents. The masters of scarcity had become the architects of abundance. But not all desert cultures found their fortune in trade. Some found it in isolation. In the American Southwest, the ancestral Puebloans built vast, intricate cities tucked into canyon walls. They engineered complex systems to capture every precious drop of rainwater, channeling it through canals to nourish their crops of corn, beans, and squash in the dry soil. Their entire society was a monument to water conservation. Then, around the 13th century, they vanished from these great houses. For centuries, it was one of archaeology's great mysteries. Where did they go? The answer is not one of catastrophe, but of resilience. A prolonged drought gripped the land. But these desert survivors did not simply die out. They did what they had always done. They adapted. They dispersed. They moved to new areas with more reliable water sources, and their culture evolved into the modern Pueblo peoples. They didn't disappear. They transformed. Their story is a powerful lesson that survival isn't always about stubbornness. Sometimes it's about the wisdom to let go and the courage to change. This ancient wisdom is now colliding with the modern world. The Bedouin of the Arabian deserts, who could find water by the slight dip in the land or the specific hue of the vegetation, now navigate by GPS. Their profound, generational knowledge of the desert rhythms is fading, replaced by diesel trucks and satellite phones. Yet, in a cruel irony, the world is now turning to these very landscapes for lessons. As climate change alters our planet, the challenges of water scarcity and extreme heat are becoming universal. Scientists are now studying the incredible biology of desert life. the kangaroo rat that can live its entire life without drinking liquid water, chemically manufacturing it from the seeds it eats. Architects are designing buildings based on the termite mound, which uses an ingenious system of vents and tunnels to maintain a constant cool temperature inside despite the blistering heat outside. The secrets of the desert, honed over millions of years of evolution and thousands of years of human ingenuity, may be the very toolkit we need for our future. The desert is a ruthless teacher. It punishes the slightest mistake without mercy. But for those who listen, it reveals its secrets. It teaches that true wealth is not gold, but a sip of water. That true power is not force, but knowledge. And that true resilience is not about fighting the world around you, but learning to move with its rhythms. The survivors of the arid lands have always known this. Their legacy is not just written in the ruins of their cities or the routes on old maps. It is written in the sand.